So the past couple videos have been nothing but leaks. I know some of y'all are like, another leak, another Mortal Kombat 1 leak, but as I've said in many videos, that's kind of the nature of the game, right guys? Because a lot of people are trying to give out information and kind of give people tidbits of what they think might be out there. A lot of them are not true, but again, as I've said in many videos, it's just all in good fun. It's just talking about the possibilities, predictions, what other people think might be in the game. And you'll have a lot of great ideas down in the comments that I like to read. So it's all just MK fans kind of come together to see who they think is in the game, what kind of outlandish things people have to say, and what kind of great ideas y'all have. So we have this interesting leak, leak. It's called the Mortal Kombat 1 Ultra Leak. Ultra Leak, and it's pretty massive. It's got all kinds of information as far as development of the game, characters, cameos, DLC, drama, all that kind of good stuff. So it's a lot to dive into, so we're gonna get to it. But I have my suspicions, and I think you will too as we go along. But let me know in the comments below if you think it's true, not true, and what would you like to see in the game. So let's get to it. So where I first found it was on 4chan, or lovely 4chan, and it was by Eddie Tobias. That's the first tip off. So Eddie like Ed Boon and then John Tobias, right? Or maybe he's a real person, Eddie Tobias. Let me know, Eddie. Are you a real person? So I started reading this post, and then as I kind of got through, I was like, this seems really interesting. So I found it on another site, Gamefaqs, where a lot of other leakers or insiders have been posting information about the game. And that one seemed to be more complete. So the 4chan one seemed to be missing some information. And I'll try to post these links down in the description down below so you can read them for yourself and kind of catch the differences. So I'm not going to do the 4chan one because that seems to be incomplete. I'm going to read the Gamefaqs one from user Weaver Siral. Hope I'm saying that right, or Siral. And it's got a really good caveat that I caught, and it says this topic contains spoilers, and you can click, tap, and highlight to reveal them. So there's a spoiler at the very end of the post. So we're going to go through the post, give some thoughts, and then as we go along, you'll kind of get the idea of where this is going. And at the very end, we'll click the spoiler and see what the surprise is. But I think you'll kind of already figure it out once we get to it. So let's start from the beginning. So it says, so many leaks playing it was way too safe. I think Reptile's in it, or they undid the thing that you didn't like in Mortal Kombat 11. So I'm going to tell you what's just up. Yeah. I have a very potent source. This is what he tells me. This is the same source who leaked Sora in Smash Brothers, so I take him seriously. Who am I? Not important. Can't exactly keep my job if I tell you. First off, little backstory. Kind of like the guy already. MK1 entered development around the same time as Mortal Kombat 11 and was specifically requested by the higher-ups. Warner Brothers really wants to make a lot of media about Mortal Kombat, movies, comics, that kind of deal, but are worried viewers will be dumb and only know characters from roster of current game and will suddenly forget who Johnny Cage is if he misses an entry. Interesting statement. I don't think anybody's going to forget who Johnny Cage is, but okay. They're angry about all the constant sequels, and they want just one Mortal Kombat game that has everyone in it. Just one Mortal Kombat 1 and done, boom, was a phrase thrown around a lot, and Ed Boon, being Ed Boon, named the game Mortal Kombat 1 as a joke. The base roster is just Mortal Kombat 11's plus a few extra. Yes, this includes guests as they sign them for this and Mortal Kombat 11 at the same time. Stallone's getting downgraded to a sound-alike though. Shang Tsung's offered as pre-order DLC, but it's just an early unlock. The extras are mostly people they didn't think would move DLC packs, which is why Quan Chi, Ermac, and Takeda are DLC, and people like Jarek, Taven, and Kai are base roster. They do throw you a bone and let you have Human Smoke, Cyber's DLC, Shujinko, Reiko, and Motaro. Alright? One thing that you can definitely know is that the executives at Warner have more control than ever before. Previously, they've had been hands-off, but they've been watching this one like a hawk to make sure it goes their way. Expect it to be heavily monetized, like a Fortnite for adults, even though adults play Fortnite too, is a phrase they keep throwing around, and yes, battle passes are in. They aren't as time-gated as Fortnite's, as old battle passes can and will return between content gaps. By the way, DLC characters can have skins, but they're only in the battle pass. So before we go any further, that's a lot to digest, a lot of information to digest. And whether this is real or not, what kind of sounds interesting, and I kind of would hold some truth to, even if this person made it up, Warner Brothers executives don't always seem to make the best decisions, and ever since David Zaslav took it over, they have a different agenda. And as I've said in previous videos, Warner Brothers Discovery is in the need of making money, and so they want, one of their biggest IPs, especially in gaming, Mortal Kombat 1 or Mortal Kombat, to make a lot of money. They want to make as much money as they can off of it. Mortal Kombat 11 was very popular, so it makes sense that they want to get the best bang for the buck, and especially if this is Warner Brothers Discovery's only time to shine with these IPs, because it's, possibly rumored that they will, once they get financially ready, they will sell and of course make a profit. It only makes sense that this is the time they want to get the most out of what they have. So I kind of have I feel like that kind of could be true, whether the leak is true or not. I feel like this is kind of be true. So as far as the DLC packs that they're saying are kind of left over, I think fans really wanted to see Ermac in the last game, and I would have wanted to see Quan Chi. So I don't understand why those would have been left on the cutting room floor and then kind of used as carryovers. Same thing with Smoke. Fans want to see Smoke. I don't know about I don't think Shujinko, Reiko, I guess he's been asked for. Mataro, I think those could have been left out, but at least Quan Chi, Ermac, and Human Smoke, or Smoke, period. I think fans have been wanting that. So if that's interesting tidbit for them to be left out, I don't know why. As far as the monetization goes, a lot of games are going that route. And I think, me personally, I think I'm all down for paying for combat packs. I think that seems fair, right? You pay for the initial game. Sometimes you even pay a little extra up front, so you kind of already have them prepaid for. I'm cool with that. I don't know that I'm always down for like these battle passes or seasons that you have to constantly pay for. I know, again, it's just in-purchase gaming, and that's the name of the game now as far as how companies are making their money, but, and it's just something that we complain about now, but we'll get used to and it'll become the norm. So it's really a moot point right now. But anyways, continuing on, the DLC will go indefinitely once the MK cast is complete. It will primarily focus on guests, though a few of the more obscure characters from movies and spin-offs like Zero and Taja are being considered. So those will be the characters from Mortal Kombat Conquest, the TV show from the 90s, and I really don't think they'd be in it. So, are there been red flags in this leak, but, just good discussion. This part I think is very interesting. It says Cole Young is in the roster. This was Warner Brothers' first demand. They wanted him for Mortal Kombat 11 as well, but Stallone voicing Rambo threw the game's budget in the toilet. Then the pandemic happened. The Cole pack would have had the Cole Young, Reiko, and Natara and movie skins for Cabal, Kano, and Jax. Now, we have talked about that in previous videos where Cole Young would have been a DLC in the game, and I think that would have been true, and I think it was a missed opportunity, and I do think that the pandemic had a lot to do with it. I think that is possibly true. So again, even though this is pure fiction, I think there are some truths to it, and I think that that's something that we would still want in the next game. I think that for fluidity and consistency across your mediums with your IP, it's good to kind of have that, oh, hey, I'm playing Mortal Kombat 1, well, the new movie's coming out, how about a new movie skin pack, or a new DLC character to go with this, get you to go watch the movie. I know some of you will not want that, but there are people out there that like that. So I think it would have been wanted. So if we have that, if we have that this time around, maybe they'll give us the characters that we didn't get from the last movie. So maybe Reiko and Natara will be in it. And heck, that would also mean that Cabal and Kano and Jax would make an appearance too. So I'll have to kind of wait and see. He goes on to say the character select screen is divided. One more traditional looking one for the MK cast. Guests get a rotating bar at the top and bottom of the screen. Well, I guess that makes sense. So our usual grid for the MK roster, and then the guests kind of in their own separate space. I'd be down for that. I kind of like it when they're mixed. That's just me personally, though. It says much of the DLC, as far as non-guests are concerned, is on disc. The use of cameos is not only meant to hide that, but cameos themselves are a sneaky way to get more work done on assets for future DLC characters. Now, we have recently talked about the size of the installation for Mortal Kombat 1, and I personally have said that given the amount of graphics that we're going to get from the game, obviously from cinematic trailers, or it could be actually from the gameplay, we'll know next Thursday, I also think that they're going to preload some of these characters in the game. I mean, they'd have to be. Whereas as big as the gig amount is, if it's going to be 100 gigs plus, I think that would be smart on their part. But we'll have to kind of wait and see. It says cameos have two uses. First off, you can summon them in battle to do specials, and they themselves are playable in a cameo battle, in a cameo battle mode. The cameo versions of characters are kind of like bosses in Mortal Kombat Trilogy, overpowered as heck, not a lot in the way of moves and combos, and are just here to be fan servicey and flashy. They feel as incomplete as they are broken. They are no replacement for actually having the character, but get everyone in here to some capacity was a Warner Brothers demand. So it kind of sounds like Mortal Kombat Smash Brothers. Cameos make up the bulk of the enemies fought in Conquest. It's the only mode where combatants fight cameos. Conquest replaces story and is legitimately impressive in scale. More on that later. Not every cameo is an actual character. You got some like a Lin Kuei Ninja, White Lotus Monk, because all cameos are fightable in Conquest. Okay, so more of the open world experience. So obviously we're going to be fighting some of the ninjas and the monks, and along the way we'll meet these other characters. They're just they're NPCs. I'd be okay with that. Okay, now it's going to dive into the DLCs, and for the most part, I think this leak has been somewhat legit, right? Like we can get on board. I think the Ciro and Tasha stuff has been questionable, and maybe the Shujinko, Reiko, and Motaro stuff might be different, but for the most part, I think we're good. Now this is where stuff gets interesting. So DLC packs 1 through 5 have already been decided and the rights secured. Each follows a theme. The second is a horror theme. Guess I should talk about this now. So now he's going to go into detail about all these DLC packs that we're going to get, and they're pretty interesting. So DLC number 2 is Terror of the Night. We have Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Natara, Serena, and Kira. The idea is that the Mimcave characters are final girls. The battle pass that complements has Laurie Strode as a skin for Sonya and many skins for Jason. There is a rights issue, so they were only allowed to reference the original Halloween movie. The recent trilogy is off limits. I was surprised they could get Jason at all, but apparently the legal dust is settling. So we've had Jason before, we've had Freddy. The other characters have been in the games, it's not anything recent. And I think that's an interesting idea of having Laurie Strode as a skin for Sonya. I never would have thought about that, but that'd be kind of cool to kind of tie that in together with the horror, Michael Myers theme. But Michael Myers has been rumored for years, and we don't know if we're actually going to get him. So, take with that what you will. Now, this one is where it starts to get kind of off the rails. But DLC pack number 3 is Verse Capcom. It says Chimera, an original character based on Monster Hunter Rise, looks like some chick skinned a dragon and wore it. Don't know a lot about Monster Hunter, to be honest. Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil 4, Akuma from Street Fighter, Cobra comes with Ken Masters GI as a skin, Striker comes with the RPD skin, Cyber Smoke comes with him reimagined as Bull Theme Maverick as a reference to his MKT animality. So obviously the guest characters and then the Battle Pass people. Originally intended to be a Verse Street Fighter pack, but Capcom wasn't having it. Capcom was reluctant to work with Mortal Kombat due to its unpopularity in Japan. I don't know if that's true, but apparently they figure it is a good idea to play nice with the big American movie studios. Akuma was okay because they consider him darker than normal MK, so seeing his head ripped off is an easier sell than Chun-Li's. The Battle Pass that drops has Capcom cosplay skins for cast. My favorite are Dante Johnny Cage and Base.exe Noob Saibot. So, I don't know about all that. But alas, here we go, some more. So we've got Combat Pack number 4, The Hunt Begins. We got Alien, Predator, Leatherface, Tanya Shinnok, and Belloc. So we've had Alien, Predator, and Leatherface before. Obviously Tanya and Shinnok. Belloc, I don't know if we've had him before, not at least not as a playable character. But, we've got that. And then Combat Pack 5, we got Legends of Gaming. And this is, of course, again, where we'll get there. Kratos, God of War. A lot of y'all wanted Kratos. He's been in there before as a skin. Doomslayer as Doom. Vertigo from Primal Rage. Cyber Sub-Zero. Or maybe he's Cyber Sub-Zero. I don't know. Maybe he will be. new character, Baraicho and Chronica. Alright, so those are our combat packs. And here's some additional thoughts he had about the combat packs. So he goes on to say, we didn't have our hopes up for Kratos, but Sony was quite forthcoming. When we asked if they were sure about putting such a flagship Sony character on Nintendo and Microsoft consoles, they laughed and said that Last of Us was coming to the Switch any day now. Apparently console exclusivity is dead. Kratos has 2 skins, his Norse skin from the current one and one we're calling Classic Kratos. Kratos' moveset is a hybrid of the Greek and Norse versions of the character. Doomslayer also has 2 skins, with his other one changing his name to Doom Guy. Skins that change names aren't that uncommon. Dark Raiden, Uber Jason, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Fire God Liu Kang, dropping the Fire God part of his name, etc. There are DLC outside these packs and further packs, but yeah, Warner Brothers really wanted an everyone is here, even forget a guess, they're calling a lot of the shots. It's also why the whole characters have new origins thing is bunk. The conquest mode will have many routes, but the canon one has you putting things as they were. Turns out some things can't be changed or they damage reality. Warner Brothers insisted we keep all but one character as familiar as possible in the end. Strikers had a face heel turn. Hero cops just aren't a good look anymore. RoboCop almost got the shaft, but they didn't want to waste the cash signing him for 2 games, so he stayed. He's become so married to his job that he's gotten obsessed with the Order, believing Earthrealm has fallen to disorder. Havoc joined the good guys was the last straw, so he's joined up with Sato. His big evil moment is him nearly killing Jax with his knee to the neck. Oh, the salt that will flow from people who hated Mortal Kombat 11's Jax ending. So that last part is kind of, I don't know what we're talking about really there. But anyways, he says all of that. And then you click on the spoiler, the black bar, and you do the big reveal. And it says the source's name, pulled from my butt 6669. Seriously, stop believing leaks. If there was any legitimacy to this, we'd have known about Mortal Kombat 1 prior to the reveal trailer. Weird how it was Mortal Kombat 12 up until then, isn't it? So there you go, guys. So the Mortal Kombat 1 Ultra Leak is a massive troll. It's a massive troll. Now, I will say that despite all that, it does have some very interesting thoughts and ideas. I do think that there are still some truths, even though it's not, it's all fake. But I think it does have some truths to it, and I do think that there are some things that we may actually see happen. And I wouldn't doubt that the stuff about the Warner Brothers executives is true. I just have a gut feeling that probably is. But what do you think about the leak? What do you think about the information it has to offer? Do you like some of the ideas it has, some of the roster, the cameos, the DLC? And what do you want to see and who do you want to see in the game? Love your thoughts and comments down below. That's it for this video, guys. Enjoy the like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.